If you're an Ahsoka Tano fan, you're definitely going to want to stick around for this one if you're looking into some lightsabers, because we've got a lot to talk about in this video. I've got the brand new TV show Ahsoka Tano lightsabers. We're going to take a look at these. We're going to compare them to the resin version of these that I also have. We'll take a look at an old set of Ahsoka Tanos I also have. And we're going to also look at a really good way to display these. So definitely stick around. You're going to want to see this. Let's get at it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. So yeah, today we're taking a look at the brand new Ahsoka Tano TV show lightsabers. I have been so excited to get these here because I've been waiting for like the better part of, I want to say about 7 months or so now. We are in mid-May and I found out about these, I think back in October or September or so. I actually have the resin version that At Stars End put together. These were all designed by Anakin Starkiller over at Stars End. And you may have actually seen him on the show here because he also designed the Kenobi lightsaber and also the Ezra 3 lightsaber. And I did pick the resin version up that he put out months and months ago. I'll actually link that down below if you want to check those out. I love those. I'll show you those. And these are based off of those resin lightsabers. So as far as I know, these are directly designed right off the TV show. So the resin ones should be 100% one-to-one accuracy on the TV show. It's got weathering on it. You can even see some of the weathering on the lightsabers behind the scenes in the 4K DVDs of the Ahsoka show. So, I mean, the version that he put out that is resin is top-notch. So let's see how these stand up to it. So let's get on into it because we have a lot to look at and talk about. So I want to thank the folks over at Artsabers for sending these over. I'll put a direct link and discount code for you down in the description if you want to check these out and everything else that Artsabers has. So a big thank you to Artsabers for keeping me up to date on these. These were delayed for a while, but you know, they got these out to me the moment that they were released to all the vendors, and now they're finally here to take a look at. I'll also do my best to get Anakin Starkiller from At Stars End to come on the show and talk about designing these lightsabers, the details and work that went into it, just like I had him here for the Kenobi lightsaber. That was a fantastic show. I know a lot of you really enjoyed watching that, so I'll reach out to him really soon and see if I can plan that out. So if you are a new viewer here, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out a lightsaber video with me. Please drop down, hit the like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I've got a lot of lightsabers coming. I've got some hot toys, I've got some ships, I've got whatever else I can come across that I do unboxings for. I've been also hitting up some Comic-Cons and some Toy Cons that I really love. Those are some really fun videos to make, and you know, you get to meet a lot of vendors, a lot of people out there, see some stuff I haven't seen in years, so those videos are really fun. I'll link a couple of those down below as well. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for stopping by for another video. Let's dig on into this unboxing. Now, these are really, really cool. I've loved the TV show versions ever since she popped up in The Mandalorian. They are kind of like, you know, the Rebel sabers, but they're, you know, a smidge different. You know, so here we have them in the Artsabers silk bags. This is the large, and then we have the Shoto. Super cool. Now, before we dig on into these, let me just show you everything else it comes with here. We do have a couple of blade plugs. We have a plaque. This is 2 separate lightsabers, so you get 2 of everything, 2 chargers, a whole bunch of extra retention screws and some extra screws and Allen wrenches, everything you need in a little tool bag. A set of Artsabers white fancy gloves. And this I'm really excited about, swap out emitter caps, and I'll show you why in a minute, why I'm so excited about these. We also get a display stand, which I will touch base in a moment. These are the SNV4 Pros, and you'll get a full manual to walk yourself through how to run the hilt, and it also will work on the Force Park V2 app. And of course, you'll get 2 blades. You'll get 1 Shoto blade and 1 normal size blade. This is a 32, and I believe this smaller one is a 28. These are actually my own personal blades, but on their website you can usually choose the size blades that you want. Now that I have a big mess here, let me organize this and I'll really dig into everything about this. All right, here's everything that we have to look at. And let's start, I guess, from the top here. Now, this is something that if these hilts didn't have, I would be really disappointed because I'm kind of sick of seeing the other versions. I really wanted to see this, and the resin version has this, so I'm really happy that they moved it on over to here. And that is the display pieces here. So on top here, we do have the display caps, basically. And older versions of this never had display caps. They always had these extra pieces of meat here that even when you took them off, you really had nothing to replace them with. You had no cap to put on there. Now, what I loved about this is that here's the resin versions. Now, these are the ones from Artsabers and as well. I'm not sure if these are even available anymore, but we're gonna look at the size differences and everything. But what I loved about them is that they had proper display caps because they're made of resin. They're just display pieces and they were super, super cheap, but their quality is absolutely fantastic. Now, these have some weathering and everything on it, and you can actually see some of the behind the scenes footage. All of this stuff is all accurate. And there's a little bit of weathering up and down, a little bit of weathering on the, whatever you want to call these, a D-ring holder. Even on this one, it has a little bit more rust paint on there as well. But there's some metal pieces and parts and then a resin body and everything. Absolutely stunning work. And these were directly from Artsabers end. So you can see that these were really important for me, you know, as a person who really gets these things for display. You know, that was amazing to see. But to use the blades, we could just swap these out to the extra pieces here, which is great. I'm so happy to see this. And if you wanted to leave these emitter pieces on, you do have blade plugs you can pop in there. You will have to cut these down if you want them to look normal and sit in there correctly. I've had to do that on a lot of blade plugs, you know, cut them down so that they look like blade plugs. They're sitting in there correctly. Now moving on over, you do get a display plaque. This does say Rebel Ahsoka, which technically is correct, but these are the TV show versions, which were kind of the same as the Rebel ones anyway. But I do wish this plaque said Ahsoka Tano TV show series or something like that. And from there, yes, you do get a display stand. Mine only came with one. Yours might come with one, might come with two. Not 100% sure, but the plaque does fit in there, just like that. However, if yours only does come with one, even if it comes with two, these stands are kind of pointless. And I mean, it doesn't really work. You know, they tip over. They're not sturdy. I mean, you're looking at a round piece sitting in a round piece, you know, you blow on it the wrong way and they just kind of flip over. You know, you can kind of put them arched this way, but here's the thing. If you have another one, it's just gonna be the same size and it's gonna be sitting directly behind it. You know, you really do need a nice stacked stand to display these correctly. And I do have a few options from Quest Design. Quest Design makes fantastic display stands. Metal ones, they've got these wall racks over here. You can see the one up over here. That is a Quest Design stand. They also have stands like this, which are wall mounts. So you can pop these on there. And over here on these brackets, we do have foam, right? So what I've done is I've taken foam, put it here, and then I took another layer of foam and just cut out a small notch in one. So I put an extra piece there and an extra piece there to basically make a little holder, a little section for the hilt to sit in. All right, and we've created a little cradle that the lightsabers can now sit in. So super, super easy. And I'll show you the larger one. Perfect. And you see, it sits in there perfectly because you've created a little cradle for it to sit in the mount. And on here, you know, if you wanted to get an Ahsoka Tano plaque, you know, it would look something like that. I have a whole bunch of plaques coming in from Quest Design. And as soon as those come in, I'll show you. I'm lining the whole movie room. All the lightsabers that are on my wall, each one of them are gonna have a plaque. It's gonna be awesome. Now that's the only problem I have seen with these lightsabers is just the displayability of it. You're gonna have to look into other stand options. Now, here's the resin version and the brand new one that Artsabers just sent me over. Again, they were designed by the awesome Anakin Starkiller over at Stars End, a very, very well-respected name in the lightsaber industry. And man, let me tell you, these are gorgeous. And really, the only tiny difference between these and this, obviously, is that these are resin, these are made of metal. And the other thing is just their size. They're slightly different in size, which I would very much expect. Even with the screen-used models, I would expect the screen-used models to look like the resin belt hangers, right, which are a little bit thinner. I'll give you some sizes in a moment. And the ones that she uses with the blade would obviously be just a bit thicker because they have to house electronics and a battery. And I'll show you the whole chassis in a moment because they're custom made chassis just for this, and they're spectacular. They didn't leave anything out, kill switches, nothing. It's all in there. As we dig into these, I want to actually pass along a note that Artsabers just gave me, and it's about the D-ring section. Let me tell you, this is really rusted. This is all rust. It's not paint or anything. It's rusted. They rusted the D-ring section, all of that. It's awesome. Look at that. That is fantastic. Terrific, terrific job. Now, Artsabers did send over a note saying that there is going to be an unweathered version, just in case that you don't like the rust on this. You can get the more plain version, which will look a lot more like this here, rather than the rusted look. I'm up in the air. I kind of really dig the rust look. But you know, I also kind of like the unrusted. It's just whatever you prefer. They did say that the unrusted, just the normal version, will also be available to purchase. Now, let me give you a quick size comparison, because I did review these resin versions, and I'll put a link to these below just so you can check them out. But gosh, they're almost exactly alike. And let me give you just some measurements so you can see how much alike that they are. Okay, so here's the large, and we'll get a width. I'm really trying not to scratch my resin ones. 21.90, hopefully you can see that. And then the girth, the height on that, we're looking at 36.96. Now, with this one, we're looking at 37.84 and 26.75. You know, and again, that's because the hilt itself has to house the battery, the electronics, and all that stuff. So, and as far as the length, both for the long and the shoto, they're coming in at the exact same size, no matter the version. Here's the shoto, and the resin one, we have about 8 inches. Installed, same thing, about 8 inches. And for the long one, we have, looks like about 11.5. And the installed, just about 11.5 as well. So virtually, they're all about the same exact length. Anyway, let's get back to this, because this is the exciting part that I really wanted to show you, because something with a curved chassis like this, you really have to go back to the drawing board and figure it all out, especially something that's thin. So let me show you what the insides here look like. To get everything out, we have to take off these 2 screws here, and then unscrew this, and then just these 2 screws, and that's it. So let's undo this here. All right, now, again, now, always put your screws in anything right next to it. All right, so next we'll take out these 2 middle ones. Here's the thing, which is also just a little bit annoying, but I mean, what are you gonna do? These are 3 different screw sizes. The top, which is a thicker one, then you have the middle, which is a thinner one, and then this one here is actually the same as the retention screw ones. So I always have one over here, but you will get 3 different Allen key sizes here. So let's undo this. Leave these screws in. All right, don't take them all the way out, just leave them in. Just make sure that they're all just completely unscrewed, okay? Again, leave those in, and then undo this one, and also leave that in as well, and I'll show you what we'll do. And I'm saying to leave them in just so you don't lose the screws. All right, so this is gonna lift off as a single piece. The D-ring will stay on. So just move that over. Now the whole top piece is just gonna slip right off. So let's pop that over here. And the same thing over here. Okay, just lift this piece up. The D-ring will stay attached, and remove the top plate. Here's something that's really cool. If you go out and get some rub and buff, these chassis, these are all beautiful chassis. Get yourself a little bit of like gold or brass rub and buff and really bring the details in this out. That'll be awesome. Now, everything is right here. It's right under here. All you gotta do is lift this up. It's magnetized. That is genius. I absolutely love that. So no extra screws or anything needed, just pop it right off. And they didn't leave anything out. They squeezed it all in there. Right over here, kill switch. Let's turn it on, right? Right over here, we have the USB-C if you want to directly plug it in for charging. And we even have the little pull tab for the battery if you want to pop the battery out and put it in a charger. Everything is there. The SD card, super easy to access. And these magnetic chassis walls are stunning. I absolutely love that. All right, now I'm gonna pop in the blades. These are 7/8 blades, but they are two different lengths, so we're gonna have to program both of the SNV4 Pros with the app to make sure that we are adjusted for the correct blade sizes. Let's start with the large hilt. These are 2-button setups, which I absolutely love. All right, so let's connect to this. We got that here.
Connected.
All right, we're connected. And let's adjust for the blade size. That's a 32, so I believe that's like 115. Okay, we're looking at the tip here. So as soon as the tip dims down, so 111, 112, 13, 14, look like 114 capped it out. So I'm just gonna put it on 115. All right, now same thing for the other one. Let's just figure out the blade size, because this is a smaller blade. So we are at 92 on light length. Now, the other thing is too, that I'm noticing, is that they're not very loud. They don't have a lot of bass. There's not a lot of space in these hilts or anything for, you know, amazing sound to be punching out. So, and there's also not much of any audio ventilating out of the bottoms there. So, you know, the sound is kind of, I guess, trapped on the inside. I'm assuming they designed these bottoms. I don't know if you can see that. I'm assuming that they designed the audio to come around the edges there. Buttons right there. That's the other thing too, the button's right under your hand, so you gotta be careful with that. Yeah, they're not very loud. You know, I'm not sure where the speaker, again, could possibly be sideways. I don't really know how it's sitting in there. I mean, I don't want to take the whole thing apart to figure that out, but it's definitely more on the quieter side of lightsabers. All right, everybody, that is about it. This is a TV series Ahsoka Tano lightsabers sent over from the folks over at Artsabers. Thank you so much to Artsabers for sending these over. I know it has been a long time since we first talked about these, and we're finally here, months and months and months later, checking these things out. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, notification button for upcoming videos. I have a lot of lightsabers to come. I have a few 6 scales on the way, some other collectibles that I find, you know, wherever I go, and a huge thank you to all my YouTube channel members. You all are helping so much keep this channel running. Thank you all so much. All right, I will see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.